Hi you guys, it's your girl Mickey J and I'm back with another video. In this video, we will be talking about Tracy Ellis Ross and her controversial interview with Michelle Obama, where she's talking about her dating preferences and how she's dating in her 50s. And it has taken the whole internet by storm, and we're gonna get into it. So I will tell you how it kind of came across my plate on how I seen the Tracy Ellis Ross clips. I woke up in the morning, I seen it on the Shade Room, and I will include the clip of what I seen.
As much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done. And I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know. Sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind.
Yeah.
And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends. So because I had to ask myself that question. I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner. And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, and I have no interest in it.
I'm sorry.
No,
Craig.
I was going to say, it's a generational thing? So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just kind of the guys you're meeting?
That's obviously
too big of a generalization.
It's a generalization, but because I have dated men my age, there is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that there's times,
I hear you.
or I'll be sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say?
Yeah,
what is not a match? And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up. That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different philosophies on dating. Mine, I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me.
Yep.
And I would hit on a couple of key points. I'll include it in the video. I'm gonna give like a general synopsis of what she said and give my opinion on how I felt about what she said and how it relates to us as women and how we can come out of the situations with the questions we need and the answers we need in order to move forward in our lives. Her general synopsis of what she was saying was basically having grief over not having any kids, not having a partner, but she would choose to do that rather than being partnered with the wrong person. And for her, you need to make her life better. Like, she's not going to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. She goes through and talks about her accomplishments and saying all that she has done and saying that she has been trying to go through this in a positive way. She's never woken up and said, oh, I just want to have a terrible day today. But she is moving forward. She's doing the things that's for her. And she said the men that she's dealt with have a toxic masculinity. And I think that that's the point that everybody is picking up. And masculinity is like a trigger word. And I think her wording might be wrong. I think she meant that a lot of men her age are more traditional, and Tracy Ellis Ross is not a traditional woman. She is not falling to the standards of traditional women as we have it in the dictionary now. It does make it known that this is a generalization of the men that she has been interacting with or dated with, and that she has had better luck with men that are younger, that have more of a openness to a relationship in different standards in a relationship, and how that relationship would look to her. And the main point of what I was trying to get to, the point of, and where she gets in the later clips of the actual interview, she made a point of saying that this is the first generation that has choice. And she was more of talking about the way and the abortions and different things like that, and how the laws have changed. And she said it was just like a short window where that was availability for, like we had the availability and choice for it. And then this is the new generation, where I was looking at it more of, this is our first generation where women have changed their mentality. And I think it was more of a stage where we were super traditional. We didn't go to work. The men had the money of control over our own lives. And then it was the hyper feminism and I don't need a man for anything type of mentality. Now we're getting to the point where, okay, this is not working. Certain things are not working for us. We have to pivot. We are dating differently now, and we're dating more selfish and more intent. Learn from our mistakes as women. I know everybody is not on the same page, but the certain movement I'm talking about is where women are being more comfortable with being alone. And that's what I heard from the clips of what she was saying. Her life being full, her being a whole person, not having to depend, not saying it in a bad way of saying that, oh yeah, you shouldn't have to depend on them, because that's toxic. What I'm saying is that men should not be the center of your life. And I've preached this in other videos before. And building other hobbies in your career, and your friends and your family have to be more of a priority, because when those relationships don't work, like if you put all of your energy towards that, then you're not able to actually recover from these relationships not working out. Or where she's saying that she had the time, she put in the effort and the attention to get to know herself and see what works for her, implementing that into how she is dealing with men and working through our relationships. I think that's where majority of women in this movement, because I don't want to put everything on all women, we are not a monolith, and I don't want to say men are all of a monolith, because I think that was an issue where men get seeing this conversation, we're like, and I've seen a whole bunch of nasty comments. I did not like that whatsoever. But I think this is a broader conversation that we need to have. And women are moving towards this kind of independence, or being more intentional with the people that we give our time to and our energy towards. I don't think that she should be demonized for that, or made to say that she was being selfish, or any of these mean comments I keep seeing. I think that she is just trying to do the best that she can and finding things that work. I think that it's just the way that she went about saying it, but I don't think that she's wrong with maybe her experience. And I understand men are not a monolith, and that all men are in that age bracket are not the same, but she makes it a point of saying that she pivot, and she found that the avenue of dating men her age was not working for her. So then she started dating younger men, of saying that they were more open. Also men that are coming into the situation saying, if things were in the opposite gender, or if it was a man that was saying that he dates younger women because women of her age, his age group, are this and that, then we would be in an uproar about that. So why is it that we're championing her from saying that? I can understand and I can empathize with what they're saying. I think that it's a difference. My perspective, it's looking like for men are looked at, or what we're being told, if they have more options than women do. So if you have more options to look around. I think that's the reason why we look at situations different, because we're always told that women have limited options. So if you're telling us like, hey, you're always looking at these 1% of men, like they gotta be six figures. I literally despise that conversation, because that is only talking about, I don't even think that's like majority of women that think about having the 1% of men. I really generally think that women just want to be around somebody that's going to respect them, that's going to love them, and just treat them right. But a lot of times we're just having this conversation of this man needs to have X amount of dollars things, and that's the thing that women need to stop having this conversation about, and it should be more about the character of a man in general. We just keep having a conversation about men and money. That's not the number one contender in how I look at a partner. So I don't think that should be the number one contender with a lot of people. But you know, it's a whole bunch of different people on the internet, so you can't really tell them how they are supposed to look at somebody. But that's just me. When we're talking about, if you're telling women, hey, you need to stop looking at the top 100%, top 1% of men that's making this X dollar amount, and then she changes, because she never once talked about money in this conversation. The only thing that she said was things to lose, and that's so general that you cannot even talk about money when you're talking about that. So we're talking about, if she's saying I'm dating people my age and this criteria is just not working, and she looked at a different age bracket. If you're telling women that they have these limited options and they can't do this and they can't do that, why is it a problem that she is looking at somebody younger? We're not talking about gross age ranges. She didn't give any age ranges. So younger could be, if she's 50, younger could be 40, younger could be 35. We don't know what that number is. So I don't think that we can really judge it off of that. But if you're sitting up there saying that we can't look at this, why is it wrong that this woman is looking at stuff differently and saying, hey, this is not working, let me try this? That's not saying that she's not dating anybody else that's her age. That's saying that these younger dudes can get it too. And what we're looking at with the full picture of men that do that is like, if you're talking about that you have this big array of women, I try not to judge people in general about who they choose, because if you love, you love. Only thing that I be having an issue with is if they is barely legal and they have not even had the life experiences to even like be able to make decisions properly. That's my only issue. Like, if you like 50 and you preying on an 18-year-old, I do have a little bit of an issue like that. But it's not enough for me to be like, oh, let me put a message or a comment underneath their stuff, say anything about their life. No, that's not my CeeLo at all. Like, I'm gonna make my opinion off of the stuff that's going on in the public, and I'm just gonna say my opinion, but I'm not gonna try to disturb this person's life. They don't know me and I don't know them. So, but this is more of like, okay, so what would you like her to do? Because y'all be living in life like y'all is their life. Okay, and then also I watched the Joe Budden podcast, and I seen that they talked about the situation. I do plan on doing like a deep dive on that when I get a chance to. But I did see a clip, and it was more of like saying that it was Joe saying that anything that's rooted in your like, you changed your behavior because of past experiences are rooted in trauma, and anything like that is that's toxic. Rooted in toxicity, how do you make decisions in the future if not based off of your past experiences? How do you learn from your mistakes and not being toxic to you? Then that, I feel like that's really confusing to me. I understand having openness about things and understanding that what happened to you is not the end all be all. That does not mean that everybody is like that. I understand that openness, but I also feel like in doing that, sometimes it can be seen as being naive to, I think in the same way that you can acknowledge that there are positive outcomes, you can also see that there are negative outcomes, and that can be a full decision that you come together with. Rather than, I understand what he means by if you're only making decisions off of the bad experiences that has came into your life, or if you're making decisions strictly out of the possibility, I feel a possibility of good things happening, I feel like that's also naive. But I feel like that you just need to find a good middle ground in order for you to be protected and you not falling for the same mistakes that you've made before. But I don't think that I think it's the way that you carry it and the way that you move forward that you can do a good balance of both. Like, because I think for us, for women, and because I can't speak on the experience of men, but what I'm saying is for women, I do generally think that we be so, I feel like sometimes we do live in being naive and saying, oh, okay, like, I'm gonna give him another chance, he gonna work through this, I believe in him. And you do those things, and sometimes it takes years off of your life, where they always be talking about that you're at this wall, and once you hit this wall, this and this is gonna happen. But in the same token, if we're living our life the way that we're supposed to, because it also comes into fate and all these different things, you dealing with the wrong man or making the wrong decisions can take years off your life and give you unnecessary stress and trauma, and then you got more baggage coming into the wrong thing, into the next thing, or the next relationship, or the next friendship. You can have all this baggage where you didn't necessarily need to. And it's really about not judging yourself too hard, assessing the situation, and knowing when to walk away from situations. Because a lot of times women just, sometimes it's hard for us to walk away from situations once we've been emotionally involved into something. And I think that's where we applaud men, because sometimes men are easier with walking away from situations than we are. And just following your experience, working hard to know yourself and know that things can be better, but learning from it. Take the experiences you've had and take your positivity and your hope for the outlook on life and just keep moving. That's all we can do. We really out here just doing the best that we can, and I want you to hear y'all opinions in the comments. If you can just let me know, you can just let us know, see how you think about it. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And we can just talk about it in the comments. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.